global news update on top accolade news. The headlines: Panama erupts and strikes. UK faces pressure to block Trump from addressing Parliament. US slashes tariff on small Chinese shipments. Trump meets Syrian leader. We'll start with the focus in politics. Panama erupts in strikes. Massive nationwide protests and strikes are sweeping Panama as workers, students, and indigenous communities rally against harsh reforms. Sparked by controversial changes to the country's social security system, the unrest has evolved into a broader struggle over national sovereignty, with demonstrators opposing U.S. military involvement and calling for the defense of the Panama Canal. The movement, now entering its third week, is gaining momentum, with nurses, teachers, construction workers, and banana laborers shutting down entire regions. Protesters denounce both domestic policies and the president's alignment with Donald Trump's push for U.S. military expansion in Panama. As government repression intensifies, Panama's working class is demanding both economic justice and independence from foreign influence. Still in politics, UK faces pressure to block Trump from addressing Parliament. Canada's newly elected Prime Minister Carney has criticized the UK's invitation for Donald Trump to make a second state visit, calling the gesture poorly timed and out of touch with Canadian sentiment. Carney said Canadians were not impressed after Labour leader Keir Starmer hand-delivered King Charles's invitation to Trump at the White House, just as Trump was questioning Canada's sovereignty and suggesting it should become the 51st U.S. state. The move sparked backlash in Canada and the UK, with Canadian leaders reaffirming their independence and calling on King Charles, their head of state, to open Parliament in a symbolic assertion of sovereignty. We move to economy. U.S. slashes tariff on small Chinese shipments. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order reducing the tariff rate on low-value shipment from China, lowering it from as high as 145% to as low as 30%. The move offers temporary relief to Chinese e-commerce giants like Shein and Temu and follows a broader 90-day tariff truce between Washington and Beijing. While this softened recent trade tension, it also sparked controversy over national security concerns and fentanyl trafficking risk. Industry experts say the policy change may mark the end of the golden age of small parcel e-commerce from China to the US, with sellers now reevaluating shipment strategies. Moving now to international relations. Trump meets Syrian leader. President Donald Trump joined Gulf Cooperation Council leaders in Riyadh for a pivotal US GCC summit, highlighting strategic partnership and defense cooperation. Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara on the sidelines just one day after announcing the surprise lifting of US sanctions on Syria, a move that has sparked celebrations in Damascus and concerns elsewhere. Marking the start of the four-day Gulf tour, Trump received a lavish welcome in Saudi Arabia, where the two nations signed a $142 billion defense deal, part of a broader $600 billion Saudi investment in the US. His regional visit continues in Qatar and the UAE later this week. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In conflict, Israel intensifies airstrikes on Gaza hospitals. The situation in Gaza has worsened, with deadly airstrike hitting both hospitals and residential areas, leaving scores of civilians dead. Israeli airstrike on Tuesday targeted the European hospital in Khan Younis, killing 16 people, while on Wednesday morning at least 53 people were killed in northern Gaza's Jabalia area, including 22 children. The Israeli Defense Forces claimed the hospital was housing a Hamas command center, though critics said such strikes violate international law. The attack comes as international pressure grew for a ceasefire, with the United Nations warning of a potential genocide while US President Donald Trump continues his Middle East tour seeking to mediate peace talks. Gaza's head ministry reports over 52,000 Palestinians have died in the region and face humanitarian crisis. Moving to security, China and Cambodia begin largest ever joint military drills. Cambodia and China have launched their largest ever joint military exercises, showcasing advanced Chinese weaponry, including artillery, warships, and robot battle dogs. The Golden Dragon drills, which will run until May 28, involve nearly 900 Chinese and over 1,300 Cambodian troops and mark a deepening of military cooperation between the two close allies. The exercises come amid growing regional concerns, especially from Washington, about China's military footprint at Cambodia's Beijing renovated Ream Naval base on the Gulf of Thailand. Analysts said the drills send a clear signal to China's expanded influence and military power in Southeast Asia. Now in entertainment, Kim Kardashian testifies in Paris robbery trial. Kim Kardashian delivered harrowing testimony in a Paris courtroom recounting the night she thought she would be shot dead during the infamous 2016 robbery that saw $9 million in jewelry stolen from the luxury apartment during Fashion Week. Kardashian told the court she was tied up at gunpoint wearing only a bathrobe and feared she would be raped or killed. 10 agent suspects, dubbed the Grandpa Robbers, are on trial, accused of orchestrating one of France's most audacious celebrity heists. Kardashian, emotional but composed, said the traumatic event changed her life forever, even as one of the defendants expressed remorse in a heartfelt note read aloud by the judge. In sports, Taliban suspends chess in Afghanistan. The Taliban has suspended the game of chess and the operation of the Afghanistan National Chess Federation, citing Islamic concerns about gambling. Officials said the sport will remain on hold while religious authorities review its compliance with Sharia law. The suspension comes despite a recent surge in chess's popularity across the country, with many Afghans viewing it as part of their cultural heritage. Critics argue that the decision, like other Taliban restrictions on sport and entertainment, is another blow to personal freedoms. The International Chess Committee remains at odds with the Taliban-led federations, while Afghan players find themselves caught in a political and religious crossfire. That concludes our global news update for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.